Attribution is a lie. Attribution is a lie.
Yeah, attribution is fake. The only thing that we should be measuring over, like, I think quarterly and annual basis are overall profitability and revenue.
Precisely. But I think,
Because
yeah, precisely.
there's no, like, I personally know businesses too, and honestly, subscription-based businesses are the best way to look at this. Their first order profitability is just not profitable at all. Like, there's no profit most of the time. And they know they can spend up to, based on their LTV, they know they can spend up to like $125 on a customer on Meta, for example. And the profitability comes 2-3 months down the line. It's like, why are we so worried about all of this first touch attribution profitability? I mean, I get it for small brands, every dollar counts. But at the same time, if you have high LTV or you have a high ticket product, I think you need to look at things on a longer time horizon. I mean, I know companies that don't do any like reporting or data analysis that moves needles until 30, sometimes 90 days. Like, personally know the people that do that.
Well, it's like you've got to build systems now that allow you to operate at the speed and scale that Meta wants. I mean, look, it's funny. When I came into the Meta space in the sense of kind of being an advertiser, I think what was like 5 months ago now. And it was so interesting because I was brought up, I was reading and watching all the old videos about how, you've got to do really like granular creative testing. So you've got to make the ads look all the same, but just change the copy. And now that's come out the window. That's gone.
That's out the window, yeah.
It's out the window. And in a good way as well, because it means that advertisers can go back to doing what advertisers want to do, right?
Yeah. Bigger swings.
Yeah.
And it's like, the only time you should be making small swings, is if you're spending a lot of money, because that's when it really matters.
Yeah. No, agreed. And I think if you look at I think it's really interesting. I think attribution is a lot of bullshit. And
people get so caught up in it too.
And again, like, it's just interesting because it still falls down, I think, kind of, in my opinion, of you don't really know what you don't know. And it's actually, you can track all these things and you can start to build a picture, but, again, there's tension for me here because, what we're building at Biggs, data is very important in how we look at the creative process, but there are some times where I fully ignore it. And I don't know, I think that's the game. It's knowing when to ignore something and when to actually follow or listen to it, right? But yeah, it's just like fundamentally, right? If you're growing a company, just choose 2 to 3 personas, have a really good landing page, have it very coherent. That's phase one. Get some cheap statics up there, right? In sense of cheap, don't get a shitty designer. Get Carson, actually have someone that cares what they do. Simple as. Get 5 to 7 statics that are targeting 2 to 3 personas. Make it really specific. Call them out really aggressively. Can you fit into your jeans at 3 p.m.? Right? Very concrete. That's bloating. And then run it to a landing page that follows the same messaging and see what happens. If you've got a ratio of 3 to 1, LTV 3 to 1, that is an engine you pump more money into.
You have to.
Yeah, mate, honestly. Yeah, we've started in an interesting way.
Yeah, we just jumped right in. So
yeah,
I guess now we can kind of dive into our main topic of today. So today we're going to be talking about the psychology of premium advertising. So this is how top brands use psychology to justify like their premium pricing, how they create premium perception amongst customers and just a general population, and then how they craft premium advertising that feels like it's higher value for the product.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it matters because as an advertiser, your job is to create creative that sells emotion. And if you can elevate a brand from good to premium, you get these higher budgets, stronger creative levers, and more defensible pricing for, if you're an agency, your agency for the client. And if you're a client, then just for your brand. Right. So I guess we can kind of start off like, what makes premium in brands and in advertising?
Yeah,
like, what do you think about, Luke, when you're thinking about what makes something premium?
I mean, look, I think people don't buy expensive things. They buy things that feel expensive, right? And I think what's really interesting, I think that the premium perception, I think is often built through emotion, not logic. And look, the great brands, I think, spend more time on the pre-purchase than you would imagine, right? Like, if we look at, let's look at some of the great brands. Let's look at Apple, right, in the white space, right, on their website. It feels premium. It feels not cluttered. It feels simplistic. The premium is the simplicity, right, of Apple. And then look at Hermes, or Hermes. How is it Hermes?
A
Yes.
mess.
Hermes, there you go. Another company that I've butchered. Great. Like their whole thing about slowness and kind of this slow living feeling and the sense of fine craftsmanship. And then look, my absolute favorite in selling a feeling of luxury has to be Rolex. You cannot go into a Rolex and buy.
They're number one in the category, in my
Mate,
opinion.
you
Them or Patek
can't,
Philippe.
mate, they will not. You walk into a Rolex and say, "Can I buy a Rolex?" They will put it on the wait list. Right? It's genius.
Yeah.
What about yeah? What about yourself? What are you
I
feeling?
think premium's not a function of cost; it's a function of value. So understanding the psychology that influences people's perceptions of value, while you're able to integrate that to your brand and experience, is all a part of what your advertising strategy needs to be if you're trying to be premium or sell premium, right? I mean, you look at brands like Represent or Stussy or Louis Vuitton or even Apple. They have it down to a function of value and status because of the emotions that they're able to sell, right? So it's not about the cost, it's about how much you're giving to someone, and that could be emotionally, that could be socially, culturally, or it could just be internally, right? So everybody who wants to sell premium, you need to position yourself not as just more expensive, but higher value,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's what premium is.
And it's interesting if you look at. I think the best example ever, in my opinion, is of how does a premium brand discount. Look at Apple, right? When they do Black Friday, it's never a percentage off. It's store credit,
Store credit, or it's buy this and get
$200 gift card,
$200
next purchase.
next purchase or
It's
whatever.
genius in a retention play. It's
Yeah.
actually fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, they're the number one of the biggest brands in the world for a reason, because they have all this stuff down to a specificity,
yeah.
and they know how they operate. But like important psychological triggers, I think we need to talk about real quick, because the two that stand out to me the most
Yeah.
are status and identity.
Yep.
Like those are the two biggest ones if you're trying to be a premium brand, right? So you need to be able to sell the product at a level that gets people to. So
Yep.
status and identity is about buying a premium product that says something about you and gives you gives you social status in some regard. And we've talked about this before, right, Luke, about status is about relevance. And if you have Louis Vuitton as a purse or clothing or whatever, to somebody in Africa or some other country, they don't care about that, right? That's a first world country type of status. But if you're big into MLB and the World Series is going on right now, and you buy a premium vintage Dodgers jersey, other people who like MLB or the Dodgers or whatever, they're going to think you have high status.
Yeah.
So it's all about relevance, right? But the other two I think that are important, and these are a little bit more obvious, but scarcity and exclusivity. So you need to have something that's not available for everyone, right? What are some other things that you think psychologically are important for premium pricing and premium products and brand?
Look, I think self-signal. I think that's a really interesting thing. The self-signal theory for me is the big psychological play, in the sense of people buy premium to actually signal identity, right? Not to others, but to themselves. That's the fundamental. You know, look, if you're buying
That's an important thing. I want to pause for a second, because not just to other people, but themselves.
Yes. And you're not like, yeah, agreed. And, you know, look, I think what's interesting, if you're buying, let's say you're buying, I don't know, is it A1? Those coffee things? Is that is that the company? The one, like the coffee company, or the fancy Win? That's the one. Is that the really fancy, like convenience? Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And look at their stuff, right? They'll charge what, $20 for a smoothie, right? You're not actually buying the $20 smoothie or the $20 whatever SKU.
Yeah.
You're buying the version of yourself who can afford one, right? And that's the signal. It's like, oh, I'm I wear these clothes because it gives me it gives me a signal. It's signaling, right? Look at the great peacocks, right? Their feathers are fantastic for a good reason, right? They're signaling, right? They signal stuff. So it's a bit of both, right? I think you do signal to other people, but you signal to yourself, right? You know, I mean, I'll be intrigued kind of to ask you this one, Carson. So, like, do you think Tesla's a premium brand?
Funny you say that. I had this thought
I had it
yesterday.
recently as well. Yeah, yeah, nice.
I had this thought yesterday because I think about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I thought Tesla was like super premium. And then I realized they're pretty affordable. A lot of people have it.
Mm,
I don't know if it signals like, not that it's not a premium product and a premium brand, but I don't know if it's a high value and high status premium
mm.
because to me, it's very accessible to everybody. Like, you don't put Tesla in the same category as Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls Royce, Bentley. You put them in a category more of what I think would probably be around the BMW or Mercedes lines, right? It's not quite premium or status raising, but it's also not mid and dog shit level car. So to me, like, but a couple years ago, I didn't have that same thing. I thought because it looks so nice, it must be super expensive until I started finding out when I got older what the prices were. Right. So I think, and it's very accessible to everybody. But again, Elon's plan with Tesla is not to make it the most premium or the most exclusive car on the planet. It's to make it accessible for everybody and still make it nice.
I think Tesla's big play is that they don't scream rich. I think where Tesla drive it, it's kind of more, I'm progressive and ahead of the curve. I think that's a big Tesla play.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's the
very much
signal they
on
want
that
to.
identity side.
So this actually leads to a really cool fundamental, right? When you're building a product and you're building a business and you're a small brand or you're a large brand or a medium brand, being really conscious of what you want to signal to the world and what your customers want to signal. Because word of mouth is the most underrated channel ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Because guess what? No CAC.
No attribution there.
No CAC. No CAC. Apart from the fact they made. Anyway, let's not get into the pernickety of that. But you know what I mean, right? And that's the thing, right? Look, I can give you a live example, right? I'm in Switzerland right now, seeing some clients. Good fun. I love my Swiss people. If there's anyone from Switzerland listening, I'll be surprised. Big up. This brand, right? It's a nice hotel. This is the brand that's Rituals. Heard of them? And this is a great little signal, right? Because, and this is why, again, it's an example. The Rituals can turn up in these types of fancy hotels, let's say, because it's a premium brand. But also, it signals to me, who's never used Rituals, this must be premium. So it works both ways. In partnerships, that's why you got to be, yeah. Anyway, what
It
do you
absolutely does. How much do you think branding and experiences matters as much as the product?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because to me,
That's a really good
premium brands also sell a story and a design and feelings and belonging
one.
that you can't just say, this is how this product works. You have to show the look, the feel, and the sound of premium, right? So like, what do you think about that? And what else would you say is, important for premium brands?
I think we're in a very talking about premium brands. I think we're in a very interesting state, right? Look, it's no obvious. It's pretty obvious. Me and Carson operate in the paid media world, but if you look at the organic approach right now, a lot of big fashion houses, the Burberrys, the Gucci's, and whatever, they're looking at organic content from a more lo-fi approach. So it's all about world building, right? The brand, how it sits, right? I think to answer your question, brands fundamentally, if you think a premium brand, the reason why people spend the money is because craftsmanship is being signaled, right? That's the fundamental, right? Why you buy a fancy, like, why'd you buy an iPhone, right? Realistically, some would say, it's because, well, some would say, no, most people do say, right? They think Steve Jobs, he was obsessive about craft. I mean, he's been dead for how many years, right? But that ethos has kind of come through and stayed through the company, right? Even though, yeah. So I think just like having I don't know that I think the experience is selling the dream. It's the outcome, right? Of if I have this product, I become this. But what companies would you say do it really well, Carson? Are there ones that you're like, oh, love me a bit of X or love me a bit of Y?
I mean, it's easy to sit here and say the big ones that we all know, like Louis Vuitton and
Classic.
Prada and all these like premium clothing brands or car brands. I think some other brands that do really well are brands who actually take their storytelling to the founder level.
Okay.
For me, I think about that as, these are smaller brands that still have a premium model. I think about Cadence, I think about Represent, I think about Minted New York. There's a bunch of ways that all of these now premium priced brands or, higher value brands that are on the smaller scale have done just a great job of telling a story from the founder's perspective.
Yeah.
And I personally, like, I was thinking about this last night. My favorite form of content is just vlogs, seeing people's lives, especially entrepreneurs. And the more that I see these not big, but these premium brands go down to the more humanoid level, the more I understand like who the people behind it are, what the mission is, what the story is, all of that. So for me, like, I really enjoy that side of things. And I think there's other brands doing it really well too. I think Hermes did it. I think last week they put a video on their social of just a guy in a carriage with a horse. Might have been Hermes, it might have been something else, but it was like crazy and wild. And I was like, that's funny. Like that's something different.
But then also look at the Burberry, right? Look at them. They're doing an organic series about people being in fish and chip shops.
Yeah. You need it.
You
Connect
just
with people.
The problem is, right, and I think that's the game we're playing right now with premium brands, and that's kind of why we're talking about it today is what does premium look like in 2026, 2027, and how, you know, you've got to actually meet the customers where they're at, and you've got to be lo-fi. You've got to make it feel, look, for example, I think we've been not brainwashed, but I think the minute we see any corporate, like, the corporate sounding music and the, hi, my name's whatever, like boom, swipe, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's what premium houses do, but you've got to show the craftsmanship. And I think that is something that will continue for a very long time.
So how do you think premium advertising looks and feels then? Because I think that's a great segue into this question.
I would say that, okay, it's going to sound a bit stupid, but I'll explain myself, right? It feels friction, okay? I think if you look at most categories, right, brands will remove friction as much as they can, right? We were talking about this kind of before, actually, about Rolex, right? So brands will remove friction, right? They'll make it really simple to buy, they'll make it very accessible. But premium brands add it strategically, right? If you think of the most premium brands that we look at and look at kind of how they play it, right? It's scarcity, it's waiting list, invitation only access, right? It's all that added perceived value, right? And I think it plays into the great game, and this is kind of how I feel about premium marketing right now. It's that effort justification. It's the harder it is to get, the more we value it, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Because I didn't even think of the effort justification point. Like that in of itself is like if you have to work harder to make more to buy it,
Precisely.
that's pretty good point right there.
I mean, look, convenience will build the habit, but I think friction builds the meaning, in my opinion. That's how I look at it. Mate, it counts, me. Look, when I've been traveling all day and I have to sit in pod, like I'm gonna I'm gonna rip some lines,
Dude,
verbally.
it's also I mean, I think a lot of brands and advertisers get caught up in the look of the minimalist and bold designs with like a lot of negative space.
That doesn't make it premium. Being minimalist
All of
doesn't
that
make
stuff.
it premium.
That's what they think is the premium. But
No.
to me, I think if you're going to do premium, you need to have an emotional story to tell.
Yeah,
And
like
there's different ways of doing that. But I'll give you one that from last year, a brand called Late Checkout Is a Lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I know them very well.
Had a 4-minute organic social ad. And it was starring Josh Hutcherson, and it blew up. They won an award for it for like best brand marketing brand out of 2024 or whatever. But the ability to keep people engaged and tell a story like they did is unreal. If anybody has not checked it out, go look up Late Checkout It's a Lifestyle Ritz-Carlton and watch the 4-minute ad. It is beautifully done in every single way because it doesn't sell the product at all. It talks about and sells the emotion and the story of the lifestyle they're trying to promote. And it might be one of my favorite video ads of all time. I mean, it is incredible how well it was done. Incredible.
But then it's a fascinating thing to me, kind of the modern premium brands kind of being social, like, social media native and the old fashioned premium brands. And it's just, you know, you, but I think storytelling is such a great, it's just, again, look, it's a big buzzword, right? What is storytelling? And to me, it's just showing the world, showing an individual a world that they can submerge themselves in, right? With friction, of course. Let's have some friction to it. But I'm intrigued here now, like Carson. So, how do you approach premium copywriting? I'm putting you on the spot.
I've got a great answer for this.
How do you approach it?
Premium copywriting is, in my opinion, about your tone of voice. You need to be confident, you need to be elegant, you need to be like very selective. I would say probably more minimal as well. And it's less about the tone of buy me now or, shop and buy and get X% off and deals and offers and whatever. This is why I think offers are complete bullshit compared to creative, but well, that's a conversation for another day. They don't sell you on the product ever. So it's about how can you make someone feel something or want to be like what you're selling or the person that you're advertising. Like I think Prada has a deal with Zendaya right now. She's all over their ads. And I'm like, people want to be like her, so they'll wear Prada. They don't need to be told to go buy it. The people who can afford it will just go buy it because they know they can. So it's about your tone of voice and not being needy or feeling like you have to get sales. And I think that's the biggest key to the copywriting aspect of premium brands. They don't sell you. They just show you.
Agreed. I think they use suggestion, like explanation. And I think it's, look, like crafted in small batches, right? Again, in our world, not in our world, but in certain health and wellness brands, they'll be like, sells out all the time, 500 units left. That's how they would do it, right? Or it's like, you know, it's interesting. You've got to let the kind of customer project the meaning because you'll never like, you could, again, I feel like that's why you mood board and it's why you do that. And you kind of build this brand world is you want them to resonate on one thing. You won't have, every brand will have a different reason why people buy. You won't be able to map it out fully, but you just have to kind of like, hopefully you hit that nail more often than not. Like for example, right? Always worth it. It is, so that's a great way how a premium brand would approach copywriting, but like a brand that isn't very premium would be like limited time only or limited time offer. It's very different, but changes the game completely. Yeah, no, it's interesting.
So I guess the best course of action next for everybody too would be, how do we apply this to ads that we're creating as advertisers, founders, as brand marketers, as performance marketers, whatever? How do you actually apply the psychology of all of this, and what do you think about in terms of making ads for premium brands, premium pricing, whatever?
I think don't be afraid of paid as a channel. I think a lot of premium brands were like, what's the point? It doesn't scream premium, but you're just trying to grab attention at the top of the funnel. That's the play. Look at like the big fashion brands, Burberry. I keep going back to Burberry. I think I want Burberry for some odd reason. But like, look at the really fancy fashion brands. They'll run loads of ads because they want to be top of mind. Look at All Saints. Look at those types of brands, right? They're not like buy now, limited time offer conversions because it would kill the brand equity. But they just play ads that are top of funnel and kind of invite you into the world that they're building.
Yeah, and is your brand already premium or aspiring to be premium? And here's the thing, if you're a small brand, you're aspiring. You don't have the status yourself to be able to claim that you're premium yet.
But just reinforce the craftsmanship. That's what I do. Like if you're If it is genuinely premium, if you're buying shirts from China and slapping on a logo, that is not premium. Don't try it. It's so bloody obvious. Actually just if you're making a product that is premium, just show the detail, show the stitching, show where you source it, make a video of you going to the actual factory, bring people along that journey. Don't even look at performance ads straight away. Don't even look at paid. Like that's something like you haven't got the budget for it. Don't do it straight away.
One, I think,
No harm in that, but
yeah, and I think one little side note is brands who are either premium or aspiring to be premium, you need to focus on organic before you focus on paid. If
Yeah.
you're trying to be this ultra premium brand, because most of the time premium brands will run just a picture of a person in their product and slap their logo on, or maybe give you the detail of like just the name of the product, right? So you always represent, you see it with brands like Minted, you see it with brands like Late Checkout or Nude Project, or a lot of clothing brands. But if you're a small brand, you don't have the premium support via your following, via your engagement, via whatever it might be. You need to focus on organic and making content that people are gonna like and
what's good
connect,
content? Just add value.
add value, or just be fucking mad.
Be mad. Like, I mean, I think the best content right now is just. I mean, look, we're in a bit of a pandemic of founder-led storytelling, where everyone seems to be doing founder-led storytelling, right?
Which is good. I like it. We need more of that. And I don't think people tire of it.
No, like, and they don't. And I think, but hold on, we have a bit of tension here.
Let's
I think
add the tension.
let's get it.
I would love this.
Yeah, okay. I think founder-led storytelling is good, but in certain contexts, right? Like, and what I mean by that, right, is if you look at the brands or look at the companies doing really well, it's like I started a bowling alley, right? Like that gets mad engagement. I think you don't have to do like storytelling founder-led stuff. You can do like I bought 100. You could do a video series, right? We're going to argue about this. I know. I can just see it in your eyes. You could buy 100 fragrances, right? Not even fragrances. You could buy 100. Let's say you're a pet food brand, right? We're going to go ultra premium pet food brand. Your storytelling as a founder could just be buying 100 different cheap pet food brands and reviewing them, right? Hi, my name's Lee. I'm building the next premium pet food brand. This is me reviewing a cheap whatever, and then just showing people how bad it is. Agitate the problem. But if you're just saying, "Oh, I'm making the next," well, I just think it's the law of shitty click through, right? Loads of people do it. The arbitrage goes, right? Do you not agree?
No, I do agree with that. I think the only thing I'd add is you need a mission. You
Well,
need to give
you
people a
need
reason
a
to care.
mission. Absolutely.
Why are you doing it, and why should other people care about it?
Yeah.
And any other thing in between, if it's not towards the mission or the why, then scrap it.
Yeah, 100%. But like, and again, it's I think it's interesting. I mean, you just hit 10K followers, didn't you? Which, by the way, congratulations. I didn't even say
Thank you.
congratulations. So it's like it's a numbers game, right? You just got to put more shots on goal, and you got to make content, and like. And again, here's a great example. Like, oh, you should make talking head videos. People that have popped off doing talking head, they make 3 to 5 a day.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Like, I genuinely would love to have that kind of content dialed in. But it's just I'm not in the right headspace in the sense of it's just I'm growing the business. I can't. But again, that's an excuse, I guess. But again, like my content's more LinkedIn anyway. But anyway, it feels becoming a bit of a therapy session as I talk about it. But you know what I mean, right? But back to premium advertising. My question is this, right? For the premium advertisers, yeah. When we think of premium, right? I think a lot of people think fashion. What would you say, Carson, are products that if you were building a brand that you would play into, you'd go for if you were building a consumer good? Are there any like categories that you're like, oh, there should be a premium angle to it?
Beverage is a big one. Obviously, if you're going into like the watches or cars or whatever, that's if we're talking more of like the smaller scale stuff, I'd think beverage is a big one. I think very niche food, like chocolates or what are others, like cheese, stuff like that can be associated with more of like the premium crowd. I mean, you can turn anything premium if you really want. I think honestly, this might sound a little crazy, but household products, you can make premium vacuums, you can make
Premium cleaning products, premium sparkling.
yeah, like there's you can make premium out of anything. I think right now premium beverage is a big opportunity. Because I think in terms of CPG, when you think of premium beverage, you think of wine, you think of maybe high class beer or alcohol, and maybe you think of like, again, Irwin smoothies. But I don't know if there's a premium beverage that there lies on the market that really stands out. And if you want to talk about premium, I mean, maybe Cadence, but that's really athlete focused. I don't know if I'd consider it like exclusive premium.
Yeah,
But again, I think that's a big opportunity.
agreed. I just think that, in my opinion, if you want to build a premium brand, think about, as I was saying before, create friction. Even one point of friction along the consumer journey, you become somewhat premium. But I think, yeah, but also I think the best premium brands, they don't serve everyone, right? They serve a certain group of people, but they get them really well. I think this has been a great episode, by the way. I mean, I mean, first of all, I mean, I do.
When you came to me with the idea, I was like, yeah, that's fire. That's a good
Well,
one.
to be fair, I didn't think the opening would be us talking about arbitrage. I mean, that was not arbitrage, attribution.
Attribution.
But that, look, we literally got on the call and we're like, I need to talk about this right now, and we just started recording. So hopefully
There you
that
go.
was useful. But I think my big takeaway from today's conversation would just be look at the big premium brands, how they do it, right? Again, if you're building any brand or anything, just look at different. If you're building a premium brand, look at different niches, right, that have done premium products and see what they do.
Yeah,
And then
look outside your niche, please.
if you look in your own niche, you're a fishbowl.
See how you can associate yourself with products that aren't the same as
100%,
yours.
100%, 100%.
Like, how would somebody that wears premium clothes use a premium home cleaning product? Right? Think about the things outside the box. Think about things that don't make sense or aren't aligned or aren't direct parallels. Like, think within the overall category of premium, not just your product as premium.
No, I agree.
Hell yeah,
I agree.
dude.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, the small group of people that do, we always appreciate it. If you like this or know someone that would, please send it their way and hit the like and subscribe button. That's all I've got for this week. Luke, any closing thoughts?
Mate, look, I do apologize for the audience that I'm keep traveling. It is a sin and I need to stop, but look, I can work anyway. It's great.
There you go.
It's good fun. But look, next week will be a good one. We're going to have a guest on next week. We're going to have a guest.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
We actually need to figure that. We're going to have a guest next week. Just we need to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
As always,
Peace.
peace.